So thanks all for joining in this beautiful holy month of Ramadan. We have joined first today. This is our day class, and actually we are reading the most beautiful novel Oroonoko. And last night I promised that today I will try to finish this novel in short. Okay. So last night we learned that Oroonoko lost Imoinda. I mean the old king of Coromantine. He sold Imoinda. He sold Imoinda to a British slave trader. But the old king told Oroonoko that he killed Imoinda secretly. The old king sent a messenger to inform Oroonoko that Imoinda is killed secretly by the order of the old king. So when Oroonoko heard that Imoinda died, Imoinda is killed by the order of the old king, then Oroonoko became upset, because this is the nature of a lover. Okay, and Oroonoko was not only a lover of Imoinda, but real husband and true husband of Imoinda, because before meeting with the old king, Oroonoko and Imoinda, they secretly got married. Okay, without taking the permission of the old king, they got married. Later the old king desired to get Imoinda in his life as his last wife. Okay, so now Oroonoko became upset. Oroonoko decided to not join in any battle. Oroonoko decided to stay at home and spend his rest of his life. He does not want to show his bravery or skill in any battlefield. In this way, several months gone that Oroonoko is upset, depressed because of losing Imoinda from his life. According to Oroonoko, Oroonoko knew that Imoinda was killed, but actually Imoinda was sold to a British slave trader by the old king. But the old king gave a wrong information to Oroonoko, and Oroonoko believed that. So right now, battle started, and the opposite soldiers, they are taking preparation to fight against the Coromantine soldiers, and Oroonoko is the general. We know that Oroonoko is the general of his army, but Oroonoko is sitting idle. All the soldiers came in order to encourage Oroonoko, so that Oroonoko can participate in the battlefield and can lead them as a general. But unfortunately, Oroonoko is no more interested to participate or to join the army and to fight against the enemies. Oroonoko is no more interested. So all the soldiers, they came and tried to encourage Oroonoko, but they all failed. Oroonoko is no more interested. Then Oroonoko told the soldiers that choose a new general among you. Choose a new general among you, and the new general will lead you in the battlefield. But I cannot participate in the battlefield. Okay, I have no desire to show my bravery. Okay, so now the soldiers, they decided to make their new general the friend of Oroonoko, and he was Abuan. Abuan was the close and faithful friend of Oroonoko, and he became the general of the Coromantine army in order to lead the soldiers in the battlefield. But being the generalship of Abuan, the Coromantine soldiers failed, and many soldiers were killed in the battlefield, and they became unsuccessful. And this heated the heart of Oroonoko. Oroonoko listened that, Oroonoko heard that really the Coromantine soldiers, they are suffering in the battlefield. They need me. They need Oroonoko as their general in order to lead them in the battlefield. So the spirit of Oroonoko raised again, and Oroonoko decided to fight decided to fight instead of sitting idle at home. Oroonoko decided to die in the battlefield by fighting, and according to Oroonoko, it will be a great honor for Oroonoko to die in the battlefield instead of dying sitting idle at home. So Oroonoko, at least, to see the situation of his army, his soldiers, Oroonoko decided to participate in the battlefield, and again Oroonoko became the general of Coromantine army, Coromantine soldiers, and with huge power, huge strength, huge desire, Oroonoko started to fight. You can say more powerful than what he did before, and one by one Oroonoko started to conquest many battles, and he captured many slaves of the opposite army, and he started to sell the soldiers to the British slave traders. Okay, and in this way, again he gained name and fame. Oroonoko gained name and fame by his extra power and strength. So in his last conquest, in his last battle, last conquest, he captured Jamoyan, Jamoan. Jamoyan is the general of opposite party. I mean, Jamoyan is the general of the enemy soldiers. So Jamoyan was very young man, very honest, but he was the opposite general. Okay, so Oroonoko captured Jamoyan. Oroonoko captured Jamoyan, but Oroonoko did not kill Jamoyan. Even he did not misbehave with Jamoyan, but he behaved very well with Jamoyan, and Jamoyan, he was also a good person, and they are made a good friendship and a strong relationship between Oroonoko and Jamoyan, and Jamoyan became the friend of Oroonoko, and later Jamoyan didn't return to his country. Jamoyan didn't return to his country, but he accompanied Oroonoko till the rest of his life. Okay, Jamoyan. So Jamoyan actually was the general of his enemy. Jamoyan was the general of Oroonoko's enemy, whom Oroonoko captured in the battlefield. Okay, but Oroonoko did not kill him, but Oroonoko befriended him. Okay, and now Jamoyan became one of the faithful friends of Oroonoko along with Aboan. So now Oroonoko has two faithful friends. One is Aboan and second is Jamoyan. Okay, Jamoyan, first he was his enemy. Now suppose it was the last conquest of Oroonoko. Oroonoko returned from the battlefield and he captured many slaves. Okay, so in the port of Coromantine, there was a British slave traders ship along with the captain. So a captain came along with his ship in the port of Coromantine. Okay, and from the last conquest of Oroonoko, he returned to the royal palace, and he was received with enjoyment and respect and honor. Okay, so Oroonoko heard that there is a British slave trader ship in the port of Coromantine. The captain of the ship, he came to Oroonoko in order to entertain him. Okay, fortunately Oroonoko recognized the face of the captain, because before this meeting Oroonoko sold many slaves or many soldiers to this captain, because the captain was a slave trader, a very skillful slave trader. That's why he met before with this captain, and Oroonoko recognized this captain. So the captain of the ship, he was very cunning, so he tried to entertain Oroonoko and his people in order to win the heart of Oroonoko. The captain of the ship, he came from his ship, and met with Oroonoko and entertained him in order to win the heart of Oroonoko. So Oroonoko also honored him and received his pleasure and entertainment. And the captain invited Oroonoko that if you are pleased by my entertainment, if you have faith on me, so you along with his men or along with his friends or fellows, you are also invited in my ship. So you can come to in my ship today, or at lunch or at dinner, or at any other day before setting off my sail, before beginning my journey, before leaving this port. Okay, so it was the invitation of the captain to Oroonoko that please you can come in my ship before leaving the port. Okay, so Oroonoko accept the invitation of the king. Okay, so Oroonoko accept the invitation of the captain. So now Oroonoko decided to go and join in the invitation of the captain. So Oroonoko along with Jamoyan and his friend Aboan, so Jamoyan, Aboan, Oroonoko and 100 youth soldiers. So along with 100 youth soldiers, Oroonoko, Jamoyan and Aboyan, they went to the English ship in order to accept the invitation of the captain. Okay, so there was a big ship in the ocean, and from that big ship a little boat came in the port. A little boat came in the port. The little boat with music and with entertainment, they received Oroonoko along with his followers, and they took them by this little boat to the big ship. Okay, so when all Oroonoko, Jamoyan, Aboyan and the 100 youth soldiers, they entered in the big ship where the captain is, the captain entertained the soldiers and win the hearts of all soldiers, and he arranged for finest wines for the guest, finest wines. Okay, and he mixed a different kind of drowsy element in the finest wine. All the soldiers, they drank the wines, the finest wines, and they became drowsy and drunkard. Okay, then the captain betrayed with Oroonoko, and he started his sail, he started his ship, he started his vessel, and Oroonoko became Oroonoko along with his all companies, they were captured by the captain of the ship. So it was a betrayal, it was an open betrayal with Oroonoko. This is the first place where the English captain or the British slave trader, he betrayed with Oroonoko, and Oroonoko became upset. He has no words for his followers or for the captain. So the journey was very long from Africa to America on the ocean. So Oroonoko decided to not eat in this voyage, so that they all will die, and they can't lead a life of slave, because they are going to be slave, they are going to be sold in another country. Oroonoko understood it, because once Oroonoko sold many slaves, many soldiers, okay, many soldiers as slaves. Okay, so Oroonoko decided to not eat anything, and he ordered other members that don't take eating, we will die here, but we can't lead a life like a slave. Okay, so the British captain, he portrayed with Oroonoko. He told Oroonoko, believe me, it was my mistake to capture you as a slave, it is my mistake, so pardon my mistake, and take my request that please eat something, and request your fellow members to eat something. Okay, and I will free all of you, I will free Oroonoko and his followers, 100 youths. When we will reach to the land, I will free all of you. Okay, don't worry, but don't stop your eating, just please eat something. Then Oroonoko again believes the English captain, and he ate, and other members also ate, okay, in order to survive their life. So when the ship reached in the port of Suriname, Suriname is a part of America. So in the port of Suriname, when the ship of the captain reached, the captain again betrayed with Oroonoko and technically sold them in different lot. LOT, lot. We know that lot means prochur, but a lot means a group of people who are sold, a group of people or a group of things. মানে যে কোনো কিছুর একটা গ্রুপ বা যে কোনো ব্যক্তির একটা গ্রুপ যাদেরকে অলরেডি কিনে নেওয়া হয়েছে, যাদেরকে অলরেডি বিক্রি করা হয়ে গেছে। মনে করো যে গ্রুপ অফ লট অফ স্লেভ, মানে একটা দাসের একটা গ্রুপ যাদেরকে কিনে নেওয়া হয়েছে, এদেরকেও লট বলা হয়। সো দ্য ইংলিশ ক্যাপ্টেন sells the members of Oroonoko along with Oroonoko to different owners of the plantation as the slave or as a slave. So সেখানে কিছু নিয়ম নীতি ছিল। দেখো, যে মা আর সন্তান একসঙ্গে থাকতে পারবে না, একই ফ্যামিলির বা ব্লাড রিলেটেড পরিচিত দুইজন একই প্লান্টেশনে থাকতে পারবে না, অর্থাৎ একই ফার্মে বা একই কলোনিতে, একই কোম্পানিতে দুইজন এক পরিবারে দুইজন থাকতে পারবে না, ব্লাড রিলেটেড বা ক্লোজ দুইজন থাকতে পারবে না। এর কারণ হচ্ছে কি, ক্লোজ যদি দুইজন থাকে তাহলে ব্রিটিশদের দীর্ঘ চিন্তা দেখো, তারা নিজেদের মধ্যে এরা বন্ধুত্ব স্থাপন করে সম্পর্ক বাড়িয়ে এরা রিভোল্ট করবে, দেখা যাবে যে এরা কাজকর্ম করতে চাবে না, এরা রিভোল্ট করবে। এই জন্য ব্লাড রিলেটেড বা একই সম্পর্কের দুইজন যেন একসঙ্গে না থাকে। এটা দেখো তাহলে এরা কত টেকনিক্যাল ছিল। তো Oroonoko was purchased by Tree Frey. Okay, Tree Frey was the owner of Parham plantation. Actually not owner, but he was overseer. You can say caretaker. Okay, overseer or caretaker of Parham plantation. A name of a plantation. There were many plantations in Suriname, and one of the plantation was Parham plantation. Okay, it is the name of the plantation, Parham plantation. And Terry Frey, another character of this novel, Terry Frey, he was the overseer or caretaker of the Parham plantation. And in this novel, perhaps Terry Frey is the only British character, only European character, only white man character who is honest, who is trusted, and who is well mannered, and who is modest, who is polite, and that is Tree Frey. But yet there is lacking, that is Tree Frey could not save the life of Oroonoko in the end of the novel. Okay, but he was different from the other colonizers, he was different from the other owners of plantation or take carers of the plantation. So it is the duty of Tree Frey to control the workers or slaves of the Parham plantation. It was his duty. Okay, so now Oroonoko is actually at Suriname as a slave. So the African Black Prince Oroonoko, he became a slave, and he is leading a life as a slave in Parham plantation under the guidance of Tree Frey, the overseer or the caretaker of Parham plantation. Remember, the real owner, actually the real governor of Suriname was Colonel Martin. Jot down this name. Colonel Martin is the real owner and real governor of Suriname. During that time, the real governor of Suriname was Colonel Martin, but he is absent now. He is the colonel governor of Suriname, and he is the owner of all plantations situated at Suriname. Okay, so unfortunately Colonel Martin, he is not present right now at Suriname. He is in another state, in another place. He is doing his work. Okay, so during his absence, his duty has taken by the deputy governor Byam, Byam. Bayam was the deputy governor of Suriname. Try to understand. Bayam is the deputy governor of Suriname, and he is right now he is taking care of the entire plantations situated in Suriname. Okay, remember this one. And remember, one of the survivor of Bayam is actually Bannister. Bannister is a little character, minor character in this novel. So Bannister is very cruel, a very brutal character, Bannister, who works under Bayam. Bayam is also very cruel and very brutal character, brutal governor mentioned in this novel by Afra Ben. Okay, so the original governor, he is not present at Suriname, and instead of the Colonel Martin, Bayam is serving as the deputy governor of Suriname. Okay, and under his guidance, Bannister is working. So what is the duty of Bayam? The duty of Bayam is to take care all plantations, to take care about the salary, about the production, about the revolt of the slaves, about the revolt of the works. Is there anyone who is making conspiracy against the British Empire or against the Europeans? So this is the duty of the deputy governor, Bayam. Okay, so now Oroonoko, how Oroonoko is explained by Terry Frey. So Terry Frey is a good man. So Terry Frey purchased Oroonoko. So the plantation of Oroonoko, plantation of Terry Frey is actually Parham plantation. So it was situated far from the port. So Oroonoko was taken by Terry Frey to the Parham plantation. Okay, so in Parham plantation, when Oroonoko entered, Oroonoko received as a king. When Oroonoko entered in the Parham plantation, he was received like a king. So there are many slaves, many workers who were sold by Oroonoko. Try to understand. We know that Oroonoko sold many slaves, many soldiers to the British slave traders. So when Oroonoko entered in the Parham plantation, Oroonoko found that there are many people whom Oroonoko knew. Oroonoko knew their faces, and the slaves, they knew Oroonoko as the prince, as the king. So they understood that Oroonoko came here as the king. So all the workers or slaves of Parham plantation, they received Oroonoko as if they received a king. Even they praised, O king. Even they praised, O king. Okay, so Oroonoko is right now, he is no more a king, he is no more a prince, but he is a common slave like others. But here the lady writer, lady novelist Afra Ben, by the character Terry Frey, he explained the attitude, the mood, the manner, the education and qualification of Oroonoko by the character Terry Frey. So because of well-mannered or politeness, decency, Oroonoko was loved by Terry Frey. So Terry Frey started to love Oroonoko. Okay, and now Terry Frey heard the story of Oroonoko, that how Oroonoko came here. So Terry Frey understood that Oroonoko is betrayed. Oroonoko is betrayed by his friends. I mean the English captain. Okay, he betrayed him. So Oroonoko, Terry Frey told Oroonoko that Oroonoko, this name is very hard, very difficult to pronounce. So whenever we purchase any slave, we change their name according to our language. So Terry Frey named Oroonoko as Caesar. Caesar, Julius Caesar was a Roman emperor, and he was a real character. Julius Caesar, he was a Roman emperor and very famous emperor in the Roman dynasty. Okay, but the Roman emperor, he had name and fame. He conquest many battles, he won many battles, and he survived as a great emperor in the history of the world. He was Julius Caesar. Okay, he was Caesar, the great Roman emperor. But unfortunately, Caesar was betrayed by his close friends. Even Caesar was stopped by his too close friend, you can say Brutus. Brutus was the close friend of Caesar, but this Brutus, in the midnight, in the darkness, Brutus stopped Caesar. Okay, stopped means পেছন থেকে ছুরিকাঘাত করা, পিছন থেকে ছুরিকাঘাত করা, because it was an assassination. Assassination means to kill someone secretly, an attempt to kill someone secretly, that is called assassination. The verb is assassinate. So why the colonizer Terrifrae, the overseer of Parham plantation Terrifrae, why he called Oroonoko Caesar? Because he heard the story of Oroonoko, how he came here. So according to the life story of Oroonoko, that is matched with the life of Caesar, the Roman emperor. That's why he called Oroonoko Caesar. So Oroonoko is now familiar in the Parham plantation as Caesar, not as Oroonoko, as Caesar. Okay, so now Terrifrae is telling the story of Parham plantation, which worker is the best, which lady worker is the most beautiful, which lady worker is the most beautiful of all the lady workers, lady slaves of Parham plantation. So in this process, Terrifrae told Oroonoko that there is a lady, there is a woman, there is a maid who is the most beautiful, most talented, virtuous, and characterized of all the slaves in Parham plantation. So Oroonoko, now Oroonoko is not Oroonoko, Oroonoko is Caesar. Okay, we can say Oroonoko. So Oroonoko became surprised. Oroonoko is surprised that who is the maid, who is the lady, or who is the woman, too beautiful, too virtuous, who is the woman? So Terrifrae said that he is Clymene. She is Clymene. So she is Clymene. Actually Clymene is actually Imoinda, because we know that, we the audience, we the readers, we know that Imoinda was sold by the old king, but Oroonoko was informed that she was killed secretly by the old king. So it was a kind of trap and selfishness of the old king, the grandfather of Oroonoko. Okay, so Oroonoko knew that the Imoinda died. So he believed that Imoinda died. Actually Imoinda was sold, and fortunately Imoinda works in the same plantation, in the Parham plantation where Oroonoko is right now. Okay, so Imoinda is given a name that is Clymene by Terrifrae, according to their function, according to their system, changing name. Okay, so Clymene is actually Imoinda, and Caesar is actually Oroonoko. Okay, Caesar is Oroonoko, Clymene actually Imoinda. So it was their process and function to change the African name. Okay, so when Oroonoko met with Clymene with surprise, Oroonoko became more surprised, because she is not Clymene, she is actually Imoinda, the wife of Oroonoko. Oroonoko became happy to get Clymene in the same plantation at Suriname. Okay, so then they started to meet secretly, and all the functions happened, what happened between husband and wife. And after a few days, or after, it's not possible to become pregnant after a few days, so after a few months Clymene became pregnant. Clymene became pregnant because now her husband is present here, Oroonoko, her husband, she is present here. But by the works, by the duties, by the service, Oroonoko and Clymene, Oroonoko and Imoinda both are very famous in the Parham plantation, even before the overseer, even before the caretaker, Terrifrae. So Terrifrae loved both Oroonoko and Imoinda, you can say Caesar and Clymene, because of their service, because of their devotion, because of their behavior, because of their decency and greatness. Okay, so though Oroonoko was a slave, but he was no more like a slave. Okay, according to his physical shape, according to his physical structure, according to his education and qualification, according to his behavior, so Oroonoko was no more like a slave. Though he was leading a life as a slave in the Parham plantation, yet he was like a king. He was like a prince. He was honored by all slaves at Parham plantation. It was a great achievement for Oroonoko. Okay, so after a few months, Imoinda became pregnant. Imoinda became pregnant. So Oroonoko told Oroonoko told Terifre that my wife Imoinda is pregnant. So we should be free. We should be freed right now because my wife is pregnant. She cannot work properly, and you should free us, and we need freedom. We need to go our motherland, Coromantine. So you can set us free. So Terifre said that I have no right to set you free, but I promise. Terifre promised to Oroonoko that I promise to you that when the Colonel Martin, the original general of this land, Suriname, when the Colonel Martin he will return, I will request him, I will tell him about your greatness, about your bravery, about your work. Then of course I hope the Colonel Martin he will set you free. He will release you. You will get freedom. You can go to your motherland. Don't worry. So it was faith and promise of Terifre to Oroonoko that when the Colonel Martin will come. Okay, so it was the promise of Terifre to Oroonoko if or when the Colonel Martin Colonel Martin will come or will return, he will request him in order to free Oroonoko and his pregnant wife, so that they can return their motherland and lead their original life. Okay, but in the end of the novel, Colonel Martin didn't came. Before that, the deputy governor Bayam, he finished the life of Oroonoko. Okay, so in this ongoing situation, there was two tigers. There were two tigers attacked on the plantation. There were two tigers attacked on the plantation within these plots or sceneries. So white men, you can say European or colonizers, white men or European, they were the guards of the plantation. They would take care the slaves in all plantations, you can say. So two tigers attacked or came or entered inside the plantation and attacked. But the white guards, they were like fool. They could not do anything. They could not control two tigers because there were many mountainous place, forest. From there the two tigers came. So Oroonoko, he was very brave, and Oroonoko himself, Oroonoko alone killed two tigers. Oroonoko fought with two tigers and killed two tigers alone. So it was a greatness and bravery of Oroonoko, which the white could not do, Oroonoko did. Which the white could not do, Oroonoko did alone. The white guards, white soldiers could not do, but Oroonoko did alone. So it proves that how much strong Oroonoko was. Okay, so after that, when a time came when Oroonoko became famous among the slaves, and Oroonoko decided to revolt against the deputy governor Bayam. This revolt is because of freedom. This revolt is only for the freedom of the slaves, so that they can go back to their motherland. Okay, so it is said that the slaves who fled from the plantation, the slaves who fled from the colony, from the plantation, and took shelter in the mountainous place of Suriname, and they make their, in the mountainous place, a group of revolt team, a group of team who will against the English government. I mean, who will revolt the governor of Suriname because of their freedom. But you know, the governor is merciless. The governor is heartless for the slaves. Okay, so the slaves who fled from the plantation and took shelter in the mountainous place of Suriname in order to make a team to revolt against the governor of Suriname because of their freedom. This team is called, this kind of slaves are called Maroon, M-A-R-O-O-N, Maroon, M-A-R-O-O-N, Maroon. So Maroon is a group of slaves who revolt against the governor of Suriname because of their freedom. Okay, because of their freedom. So Oroonoko made a team among the slaves, among the workers of Parham plantation. Oroonoko, when his wife Imuinde became pregnant, so freedom strikes on his heart that he must need freedom, not only for him but also for the other slaves, other members of this plantation, other workers of this plantation, because the slaves, they were tortured, they worked hard, they were tortured, they could not get proper food, proper clothes, proper dress in the Parham plantation, but they work hard. You can say more than 18 hours or 16 hours, 18 hours. The workers, they worked in different plantations, so they need freedom. So their life was miserable, more than a common slave. So their life was miserable, more than a common slave. Okay, they were more than a common slave. They were always tortured. They were whipped. তাদেরকে চাবুক মারা হতো. They were whipped. If there is any mistake, the white guards, the colonizers, they whipped the slaves mercilessly. They whipped on the skin of the body without any dress. They whipped, and after whipping, they use pepper. P-E-P-P-E-R. Pepper means, you can say, a kind of chili, red chili, the powder of red chili, you can say. The powder of red chili that is spicy, that is very spicy. A kind of powder of red chili or green chili or chili kind of something, that is a kind of spicy. So the colonizers, they were so merciless that after whipping, there were many wounds, many marks of whipping in the body of the slave, and in those marks they would use pepper, or you can say the powder of red chili, in order to fulfill their punishment, in order to fulfill their torture. So how much merciless they were. Mainly Bayam, the deputy governor, and his survivor, his employee Bannister. Okay, so because of this kind of inhumane tortures, Oroonoko thought that I should revolt, at least because of my wife and children, wife and my child, that is inside the womb of his mother, inside the womb of Imuinda. Okay, so Oroonoko delivered a speech before the slaves, before the workers of Parham plantation. He delivered a speech like a king, like a speaker, like a leader. Oroonoko said that we are not free. We are not free. We are slaves here. So we are more than slaves. They are torturing us. We won't get proper food, proper health care. The leaders, the colonizers, the white European, they all are merciless. So we need our freedom. We should revolt against the governor because of our freedom. We should do it. Okay. So after hearing this, Deputy General Bayam, he became angered, and along with his soldiers, he attacked the revolt workers. Okay, because there were many scenes, little events which I missed because of this shortcut story. Okay, so there was another plan to flee from the plantation. To flee after the revolt, Oroonoko will flee from the plantation through the port of Suriname. Okay, but he failed. So Bayam attacked along with his soldiers on the revolters and protesters, and all fled. And you know about the attitude of common people. Common people are common people. If you can make them you can make them afraid, they will be afraid. There is no doubt, because they are common people. Everyone is not like Oroonoko, not as powerful as Oroonoko. Okay, so Oroonoko understood that the soldiers of Bayam, they will torture my pregnant wife Imoinda, and I cannot tolerate it that before my sight they are torturing my pregnant wife, and my wife will become the product to fulfill their thirsty. They will never consider that my Imoinda is pregnant or my wife is pregnant. They will never consider that which maid is pregnant or which maid is not pregnant, but they will fulfill their wish and desire at any cost. This is the nature of the colonizers. This is the nature of the white European. So I cannot remain Imoinda in this situation. That's why they both lovers, husband and wife, Imoinda and Oroonoko, they decided to leave this place, but they could not do this. So Oroonoko told Imoinda, so we can get relief by killing ourselves. By killing ourselves, we can easily die. So in order to do so, Oroonoko, Imoinda agreed with Oroonoko. So Oroonoko, by his knife, Oroonoko cut off the throat of Imoinda. I mean, Oroonoko killed Imoinda. Why he killed? Because if Imoinda survives, she will become the victim of British colonizer, and they will always torture her. They will never consider that Imoinda is pregnant. Okay, so now Oroonoko killed Imoinda. The dead body of Imoinda is lying before the eyesight of Imoinda in a mountainous side of Suriname. When they were trying to flee, and the soldiers of Bayam, the soldiers of Governor Bayam, they were following in order to find out Imoinda and Oroonoko. They were still following. And here Oroonoko killed Imoinda in order to give her relief from the torture of British colonizer, because she was pregnant. Now the dead body is lying before the sight of Oroonoko. Oroonoko became paralyzed because his most beloved wife is lying before him, and he killed herself. He killed herself by his own hand, by this knife. So the body of Oroonoko became paralyzed. He became senseless. He became weak, and he became unable to move from that place. And he is sitting, and he is looking at the dead body of Imoinda, because he has no strength. He has no strength to leave this place, to move from this place, because this is emotion, this is passion. A common man cannot kill. You are thinking that in your intense angry mood you will kill someone. No, it's not possible. If you cut the belly of someone by Ramda, if you cut the belly of someone is standing before you, you beat by a Ramda on the belly of someone, then the belly will be two parted, and all the elements, all the organs that was inside the belly came out. Do you have such eyes to tolerate, to endure this sin, that all organs that were inside now came out? No, you are a common person, you are a common man, you don't have this power to tolerate such sin, such scenery. So you will be paralyzed. So you must be merciless. You must be merciless. You must be professional brutal or professional killer. Then you will be able to do so. But if you are not so, then you will be paralyzed. Before dying, that person whom you hit at, you will be died. You will be died. There is no doubt. So like that it happened with Oroonoko. Oroonoko became paralyzed. So guess the picture, guess the image. How was the condition of Oroonoko during that time? So Oroonoko was captured easily by the soldier of Bayam, mainly Bannister. Suppose Bannister arrested Oroonoko and took him from that place to their office. So there was an open field. There was an open field which was mainly for the punishment. Okay, which was mainly for the punishment. You know, the British government, the colonizers, they killed the slaves in an open place where all the slaves were present, or all the slaves would present, and before them they would punish someone, so that the rest cannot dare to go against the colonizers, go against the Europeans. It was their purpose. So Oroonoko and Aboyan, Oroonoko and his friend Aboyan, they were hanged. They were captured. Their hand was tied up and bastoned by rope, by iron chain, and by the order of Bayam, Bannister tortured Oroonoko and whipped him. Chabuk marsen. So there were thousands marks of whipping. There are hundred marks of whipping in the body of Oroonoko. তাহলে লেখিকা বলছে যে শত শত দাগ ছিল চাবুকের দাগ অরণকর বডিতে, এই পরিমাণ তাকে আঘাত করা হয়। তো আঘাত করার পর তখন অরণকর যে ওই যে চাবুকের যে দাগগুলো আছে এগুলোতে পিপার বলা হয়। এটা কি ইন্ডিয়ান পিপার বলা হচ্ছে। ইন্ডিয়াতে এই মশলাটা তৈরি হয়েছে, অনেক ঝাল, অনেক ঝাঁঝালো। এই তারপর তারপরে আরও কিছু সৈন্য দিয়ে অরণকর পুরো দেহে যতগুলো জায়গায় তার দাগ হয়েছে সব জায়গায় এই মরিচের গুঁড়া এইভাবে দেওয়া হয়। তো Oroonoko was groaning, Oroonoko was shouting like a mad person. How was the torture? How was the oppression? Think. And it had been done by the colonizers, by the British government. বুঝতে পারছো? তো যখন তার এইভাবে মরিচের গুঁড়া দিয়ে বা পিপার দিয়ে, শব্দটা মনে রাখো, PEPPER, পিপার। এটা পিপার refers to a kind of powder that is made by green chili or red chili, whatever, a kind of chili that is very spicy. Okay. So Oroonoko became like a mad. Then Bannister came before Oroonoko. Bannister told Oroonoko that you are going to die like a dog. You are going to die like a dog. Then Oroonoko, with a smiling face, that at last a white man told me the truth that I am going to die. Because এর আগে যতজনে তাকে হোয়াইট ম্যান প্রমিস করছে যে এটা করো ওটা করো, মাঝখানে বায়ামও প্রমিস করে যে তোমার লোকদেরকে নিয়ে ফিরে আসো, রিভোল্ট করো না, আমি তোমাকে আর তোমার স্ত্রীকে ছেড়ে দেবো, এরকম বায়ামও বলে, কিন্তু সবগুলো ধোকা দেয় তাকে। এই জন্য যখন ব্যানিস্টার বলল যে ইউ আর গোয়িং টু ডাই লাইক এ ডগ, যে তুমি একটা কুত্তার মতো মৃত্যুবরণ করতে যাচ্ছ, তখন অরণকো বলে যে অ্যাটলিস্ট আ হোয়াইট টেল আ ট্রুথ। ঠিক আছে, এই হোয়াইট কেউ একজন সত্য কথা বললো শেষ পর্যন্ত। তারপর বাই দ্য অর্ডার অফ বায়াম, ব্যানিস্টার কাট দ্য ইয়ার্স। ও সো বিফোর দ্যাট, ডু ইউ হ্যাভ এনি উইশ? ব্যানিস্টার টোল্ড অরণকো, ডু ইউ হ্যাভ এনি উইশ বিফোর ইউর ডেথ? দেন অরণকো টোল্ড দ্যাট ইয়েস, আই নিড এ টাবাকো হুক। ওই তামাক পান করে না, তামাক পান করার ধোয়া যে আছে, ধোয়া সে মুখে পাইপ দিয়ে তাবাকো দিয়ে দিয়ে সেই তাবাকো টানতেছে। এটা আফ্রিকান একটা কালচার, তাবাকো খাওয়া, তামাক। ওই যে হুক্কা আছে না, তোমরা চেনো কিনা জানি না, আমি দেখছিলাম আগে, এখন নজরে পড়ে না, হিন্দু পাড়ায় দেখতাম আগে, বৃদ্ধ মানুষরা খাইতো, ওরা মারা গেছে, নাই আর বেঁচে নেই। তো ওই রকম হুক্কা সে টানতে লাগলো, আর এইদিকে এক এক করে ব্যানিস্টার তার 2 কান কেটে দিল, তারপর তার নাক কেটে দিল, তারপর ডান হাত কেটে দিল, তারপর যখন বাম হাত কেটে দেয় তখন আস্তে করে তার মাথাটা এইভাবে হেলে যায়, পড়ে যায়, তারপর মাথাটা হেলে যায় এবং সে মৃত্যুবরণ করে। অরণকো মারা যায়, অরণকো ডাইড। and then Bannister cut the body of Oroonoko into 4 pieces. বইয়ে ব্যবহার করা আছে কোয়ার্টার, 4টা ভাগে ভাগ করে তার বডিকে, বুঝতে পারছো, 4 ভাগে ভাগ করে। তো and by the order of Byam, Bannister sent the 4 pieces of his body to different commanders of the Suriname, of Suriname, different commanders of Suriname. সুরিনামের বিভিন্ন আলাদা আলাদা কমান্ডার এবং গভর্নর যারা আছে তাদের কাছে 4টা বডি পাঠায় দেয়। তো একটা টুকরা রাখে কার জন্য? কলোনেল মার্টিনের জন্য একটা টুকরা রাখে। When Colonel Martin found the piece of Oroonoko's body, he became angered and he shies, and he expect that instead of the body of Oroonoko, if I could the dead body of Governor Byam, it would be better. He blamed the work of Byam. So what? At least this is the torture of British Empire. This is the torture of a British colonial system. So this is all over this novel, and there are many informations missed by me in order to make this story short. Okay, so if you have your academic book, you can read the summary of this book, and even along with the summary you can read the you can say critical comment. Okay, you can read the critical comments. So now I hope মানে কিভাবে কোনটা হইলো, কিভাবে কেন হইলো, এটা তাহলে কি প্রমাণিত হয়, এই যুক্তিগুলো তোমাদেরকে দেওয়া যাবে। তো এই যুক্তিগুলো দেওয়া উচিত, কিন্তু আমি এখন দিব না। আমরা কালকে আরেকটা আমরা চ্যাপ্টার শুরু করব। আমাদের এই চ্যাপ্টার সহ আমরা 6টা কোর্স আমরা হাত দিয়েছি, 6টা কোর্সে, আর 2টা কোর্স আছে, বুঝতে পারছো, আর 2টা কোর্স আছে। একটা হচ্ছে মনে করো যে এই সেঞ্চুরিরে রেস্টোরেশন অ্যান্ড 18th সেঞ্চুরির মনে করো পোয়েট্রি অ্যান্ড